Dave Kingman was a first baseman and outfielder who played in Major League Baseball for 16 seasons from 1971 to 1986. He played for 7 teams, but spent the most time with the New York Mets. If you're unfamiliar with Kingman's career, there's a lot going on. He played in nearly 2,000 games and came to the plate nearly 7,500 times, in which he slashed .236 with a .302 on base and .478 slugging for 780 OPS and 115 adjusted OPS while earning 17.3 WAR. As evidenced by his low batting average and on-base percentage, Kingman wasn't the best at getting on base. Out of 276 players to have at least 3,000 plate appearances during his time in the league, he ranks 250th in on-base percentage and 268th in batting average. Along with those poor stats, he also struck out a lot. Kingman led the league in strikeouts in 3 seasons and has over 1,800 strikeouts in his career. His 1,816 career strikeouts ranks 22nd most all-time, and among hitters with 7,500 or fewer plate appearances in their career, he ranks 4th most all-time. In addition to the lousy hitting stats mentioned, Kingman was a poor base runner and not a good fielder. He has 85 stolen bases over 16 seasons, which is an average of about 5 per year. He spent equal playing time in left field, first base, and DH, and for lack of a better word, was terrible everywhere he played. His negative 16.7 career D-WAR is in the bottom 40 all-time. Despite being a lousy fielder, poor base runner, terrible strikeout hitter, and having awful on-base skills, Kingman excelled at one thing and one thing only: hitting home runs. Among all retired players in MLB history, Kingman ranks 13th in at-bat per home run, averaging a home run every 15.11 at-bats. Through the 2022 season, his 442 career home runs ranked 43rd most all-time, and at the time of his retirement, he ranked 19th for most career home runs. I could make an entire video about Kingman's career, and maybe I will in the future, but this video is not about his career. It's about one specific season he had, his 1982 campaign. That season, playing for the New York Mets, Kingman had 607 plate appearances, slashing .204 with a .285 on base and .432 slugging for 717 OPS and 99 adjusted OPS. He hit 37 home runs, drove in 99 RBIs, scored 80 runs, struck out 156 times, and was worth 0.1 WAR. Seems like a typical Kingman-esque season. Low batting average, low on base, low WAR, but a high slugging with tons of home runs and strikeouts. So what's significant about this season? Dave Kingman's 1982 season is significant due to just how terrible his stats were despite his home run total. Typically, the more home runs one hits, the better a hitter he'll be. However, Kingman hit many home runs in spite of being such a terrible hitter. That's not even the weirdest part. Despite having an awful season, Kingman's 37 home runs led the National League. The fact that he hit that many home runs while also leading the league in them despite a below average adjusted OPS is an anomaly. To see just how much of an anomaly Dave Kingman's 1982 season was, let's compare it to other seasons all time. As of August 2023, Kingman's 37 home runs are the record for most home runs in a single season to have a below average adjusted OPS. There's been 2 close calls. Tony Armas and Sammy Sosa each hit 36 with a sub 100 adjusted OPS, but nobody has been able to tie Kingman. Not to mention, he's the only player in MLB history to lead the league in home runs to also finish with an adjusted OPS below 100. Think about that for a moment. Dave Kingman is the only person to ever lead the National League or American League in home runs to also have a below average adjusted OPS. Home runs significantly raise slugging percentage, which in turn raises OPS, which in turn raises adjusted OPS. However, he was such a bad hitter in every other aspect, his overall OPS was still unimpressive compared to the rest of the league. While his overall hitting stats may have been just below average, it's a far cry from what other home run hitters accomplished. What do I mean by that? Well, through the 2022 season, there have been 569 instances in MLB history of a player hitting at least 37 home runs in a single season. Of those 569 seasons, Kingman's 717 OPS in 1982 is the lowest of all time, and he's in last place by a notable margin. The second lowest mark is exactly 50 points higher, a 767 OPS coming from Ty Frazier in 2016. That is an enormous margin. The difference between Kingman at the lowest and Frazier at the second lowest is roughly the same as Frazier at second lowest and Chris Carter at 19th lowest. Having a low OPS while hitting so many home runs is really hard to accomplish and basically never happens. Among all players in MLB history to have a 717 or lower OPS in a single season, Kingman's 1982 season is just one of 5 occurrences in which a player also hit 30 or more home runs, and he did it twice. Purely looking at seasons through the 1982 season, the second highest home run total is 28. That's nearly 33% more home runs hit by Kingman than the second highest mark. At the time, he wasn't just in first place, he was in first by a lot. What about his WAR? As previously mentioned, Kingman defied all odds to actually have a positive WAR mark at 0.1. Among all players in MLB history through 2022 to achieve 0.1 WAR or lower in a single season, Kingman's 37 home runs are the second most ever, only behind Adam Dunn. I made a video about that season by Adam Dunn, so check it out after this one. I specifically said through 2022 because Kyle Schwarber this season is making a push to eclipse Kingman and Dunn. This video script was recorded on August 31st, and as of this date, Schwarber has tied Kingman's home run mark while also achieving exactly 0 WAR. While it's unlikely he'll lead the National League in home runs, Schwarber has a great chance to surpass Kingman and Dunn and hold the all-time record for most home runs hit in a single season while also achieving negative WAR. Moving back to Dave Kingman, something else notable regarding his season is the number of doubles he hit. Often, hitters who have high home run totals will also hit a decent amount of doubles, seeing how they excel at slugging. Dave Kingman hit a grand total of 9 doubles in 1982. 9 doubles with that many home runs hit is criminally low. How low? Well, among all hitters in MLB history to hit at least 37 home runs in a single season, Kingman's 9 doubles are the fewest amount of all time, and that's not even half of the story. As mentioned earlier, Kingman had 607 plate appearances in 1982. In the live ball era, Kingman is just one of 5 players to ever hit fewer than 10 doubles in a single season with that many or more plate appearances. Thousands and thousands of player seasons in the last 100 plus years, and Kingman is in the bottom 5. The thing is, those other players were at least light hitters. Among the other 4 who had fewer than 10 doubles with at least 607 plate appearances, they averaged 13.5 extra base hits in that season. Dave Kingman himself hit 47 extra base hits, nearly totaling the other 4 combined. It makes sense that the other players hit such few doubles and extra base hits. They were poor hitters who were notorious for having a low slugging percentage. Dave Kingman is the complete opposite. Speaking of slugging percentage, one last thing I want to mention is Kingman's .432 mark. While normally a solid mark for his era, it's low for someone to hit that many home runs. 37 home runs is the record for most home runs hit with a slugging percentage at or lower than .432. The second most home runs with an OPS at or lower than that mark is 35, hit by Dave Kingman 3 years later. Despite everything I've said, I didn't even mention the best part of his season yet. One of those 37 home runs was an inside the park home run. It was the first and only inside the park homer of his career. Dave Kingman's 1982 season is one of the most baffling seasons a player ever had in Major League Baseball history. He had the worst season to ever hit that many home runs, let alone lead the league in home runs. He couldn't make contact, couldn't get on base, or play defense that year. It was all home runs and nothing else. Despite 0 WAR, Kyle Schwarber still has an adjusted OPS over 100, having a mark of 115 as of August 31st. Since it's unlikely Schwarber's mark will drop below 100, and also unlikely he'll lead the league in homers, Kingman will continue to hold his position as the worst season to ever lead the league in home runs. Maybe someone will dethrone him in the near future, but for now, he'll continue to hold his unique title.